And I think a lot of priests don't believe in God. I mean,
I agree.
Which is, they're kind of missing the treat, aren't they? They're missing the fun part.
Well, I agree. So what it's secular, and what it is they care more about what other people think than praising God, right? And it's like academia is the problem, in microcosm for everything, that you're so worried about the world, you're so worried about being considered intelligent. I mean, particularly, like, it's the Enlightenment, and the Enlightenment, you talk about mind spells, right? The word Enlightenment is actually a 19th century word for what they thought they were doing in the 18th century. But we are the ones who are enlightened by reason now, and it's no, they were darkened, right? They were insisting that only human reason was sufficient to understanding reality. It's like, wait, you say that out loud, it's like, are you nuts? You really think that our little minds are capable of understanding, all of reality? I don't think so. And we've been under that delusion, I think, for several hundred years now. And the main trick is to convince yourself that it's embarrassing to fall on your knees before the Creator and say, wow, the stuff you made is amazing.
Yeah.
Right? I'm looking at my dog, right? I have a puppy that we got this last spring, and saying, who could make that? It's the corgi, right? Yeah. Who could make a corgi? They're gorgeous and delightful and joyous. And it's like, if you just study the animals, I was I reading? I can't remember. People who are interested in animals also tend to be interested in angels, which is a kind of interesting sort of, you don't expect it, right? You think, oh, if they're just interested in angels, or people can be interested in angels as like demonic and want to like control them and get power from them and stuff. But if you're interested in our situation as speaking animal creatures, right, between animals and angels, you're going to be interested in the whole range of creation. If you're interested in just this world and being in control of it and being sort of machine-like, mechanistic, what I see is you're just going to have this sort of flat reality, right? It's like everything's just material, everything's controllable. You're missing out. The flatland mythology is pretty good one, right? If you have that mathematical flat that we just live on this single plane, no, the sphere drops through and you're not going to be able to see it.
No, I feel the same way about horses, which I think are a kind of sign of God. I just think how weird is it that we live on this planet where are these animals which are much more powerful than us, and they eat grass, which is quite useful, that rather than flesh or anything, and they're really strong, and yet at the same time they are biddable to the degree that you can sit on their backs and you can jump over hedges, and they really love it. It gives them great pleasure, and you have this bond with them. Now, that's just weird, I think. I mean, if imagine a world where horses didn't exist, and if somebody described what this creature that can do all this, they'd go, no, that's just like, that would never happen. It would just be crazy. But you're interesting you say about animals and angels, because I've always been into my wildlife and stuff, but I'm really interested in angels. In the last month, I have spoken to 2 people who've seen angels, and
wow,
in both cases they absolutely wanted to assure me, look, I don't do drugs, and I'm not the sort of person who sees angels. They were not, I don't think they were even Christians, or one of them was a lapsed Christian, but they were absolutely adamant that they described it. I mean, have you met people who've seen angels?
I haven't. No, that's new to me.
But you believe them, yeah? You believe in them?
I do believe in them, and in the sense that, I mean, we're definitely beset by evil ones, right? That so going back to the ring and what the ring is, and the sort of what's been happening in the last year and a half. I do think so. You could sort of jokingly or conspiracy theory level ask who's in charge of what's going on right now. And I will unjokingly answer Satan, in the sense that, people's willingness to give in to lies is extraordinary, right? And
Yes.
the kind of thing that we're suffering under right now is everybody making these little bargains, right? Oh, I'll do obviously the COVID stuff, right? I'll wear this mask and then I'll be safe. It's like, that's a magic trick, right? It's literally a magic trick.
Yeah.
You're going to perform something that we can prove, experientially and experimentally doesn't work, and yet you'll do this ritual because it gives you this sort of assurance, right? But recognizing that every single one of those steps in these rituals that we've been pushed through for the last year and a half is always making a bargain of, if I'll be safe, right? Okay, one, Lewis's Aslan is not a tame lion is the best phrase that came out of his stories, right? It's like, God said he's going to take care of you, but you have to trust him first, right? And you have to sort of be willing to say, no, I'm not going to make a bargain with the devil in order to be a little bit safer here. I'm going to fling myself into reality and trust that God means for me to live, right? And that's what I say, the sort of thing that people are suffering under most over the last year is this failure to not just have faith. It's like medicine will be available, or we'll figure something out, but have faith that you'll be taken care of by God. It's very interesting.
Yes.
And I think Sauron wants you to be afraid and feel like there's nothing you can do. And the ring temptation is also, if we could just grab the ring and figure out some way to battle Sauron with it.
Yeah.
Well, then you were Boromir, right? Then we want control too,
Yeah.
right? It's that's to be resisted. We need to resist that.
Yeah. It's also it's a bit like the book I'm reading at the moment, Raskolnikov, sort of rationalizing himself that it's okay to batter the woman to death with an axe because you're gonna use the money to do something Napoleonic and great. You're gonna you're absolutely right. I think I've argued before that people who don't understand that this is a battle between good and evil, and that good and evil are real, and that they are ultimately manifestations of the devil and God, don't really understand what's going on right now. It's all very well saying, yeah, there are people motivated by greed and stuff, but they're missing that key element of understanding, I think.
I agree. And going back to thinking about the horses, right? That, animals have wills, and they have, purposes of their own and such. And when you were talking about how, it's joyous to ride the horse, and he enjoys it too, right? It's like, he wants to jump over hedges. He loves you.
Yes.
He wants to be, the dogs, right? It's like it's extraordinary that dogs love us as much as they do.
Yeah.
But you have to work with the horse. One of my friends who rode horses talked about how you're it's like, and what you said, the animal is enormous, right? You have to work with him to do the things that you do together. And I have to work with my dog to get him to have the routines that we do, or play in the way that he does. And that what the demonic is this desire to be in control of other wills. That's always what Tolkien was showing with the Lord of the Rings, right? What the ring can do is bind other wills and force them to do things, right? It's like it makes everyone slaves. It makes you all puppets. This to me is what the demonic element of everything that we're under, the masks and the mandates and the do this, do that. It feels demonic because it's ultimately about forcing everyone into being controlled, right? It will fail because God means us to have free will, but the people give into it because they're afraid. It's like the devil can't get you unless you consent.
Yes.
It's really, really important to remember that. And so it's what Sauron tries to do with the ring, is to make everybody afraid, right? He's all powerful, right? And the reality is, what they want to do is feel that they can make you do stuff. It's really that simple.